What is up, everybody? AJ Reilly here with Eric Vincent for
Yo,
Beyond the Box. We are, man, it feels like it's been a long time, even though it's only been a week, Eric.
I
And
don't
I
like
think it's
these big
because,
breaks, man.
yeah, I don't either. Maybe we just start doing the show like 3 times a week or something.
We might need to. I miss everybody, man. It's good to be here. What's up,
I
y'all?
miss them too. Hopefully, you had a good week. It's been a weird week not having Michigan football, man. Like, been a super weird week not
Lions
having
football.
Michigan. Yeah, that's right.
Lions
Lions
football.
football.
Yes,
See, I told
yes,
you
yes.
it's been a
We had some good
long
football.
week.
We had some
Whew.
good football to watch here in the Metro Detroit area this weekend.
We did. So what's new, man? What's new? What games did you watch this weekend if you didn't watch the Lions because they weren't on?
Definitely watch Michigan. I enjoyed the thriller of Tennessee and Bama, which was awesome. A lot of good NFL red zone football. The Bills Chiefs game was really good. It was a lot of good football on. It's like, again, no Lions, no problem. It was plenty of good football to watch this weekend. I enjoyed a lot of it, man. It was cool.
It was. It was. There was a lot of pretty doggone good football on this weekend. That Bama game for sure was a really good game. I'm not a little surprised by the outcome, I guess.
I was.
Tennessee played well, and I'm very, very interested to see, kind of how the rest of the season goes with the way that Tennessee is going to be ranked, and if they can actually hang on and keep up the momentum, right? Because Bama still got they got Mississippi State, I think, this weekend. They go to Ole Miss and play, so hopefully they can get them another loss, and then they can just be, off. You know what I mean? Like just out of the picture completely. That'd be
Very,
fantastic.
very possible. Very, very possible, man.
So, NFL games. Did you say which NFL games you watched?
Yeah, I watched Philly Dallas. I watched the Chiefs and the Bills. Probably one of the best games I've seen all season. It was just like what they did in the playoffs last season. So yeah, I watched them go at it. And I watched some other teams that were that killed a few theories about the Lions that we'll talk about a little bit later. From the Falcons and Niners game, and then a couple other red zone games I caught. So yeah, it was a lot of good football to be watched this weekend. I hope everybody got to enjoy themselves the way I did.
Yeah, it was. I was a little preoccupied, so I was watching things, a little bit, sparsely here and there, and making sure that things, the fantasy teams held up. Which surprisingly, in our DSN Creators League with Derek Carr on a bye, I started Carson Wentz and Justin Fields this week, and still am going to win. And still am
You
going to win.
you don't deserve this fortune that you be getting with these little breaks and whatnot. Like, this makes me sick to my stomach. I swear, I can't keep Keenan Allen on the field and you get to scoop the poop that's Justin Fields and get some success out of it. It's disgusting.
Look, man. You just when you got it, you got it, and I am. You can see Matt Reilly here in the chat, who we might hear from later. He's actually who I'm playing, and I thought that he might get his first win this week with how down I was, but it ain't looking that way.
The
It ain't
guys
looking that
just
way.
helping you out in every way if they can.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, I don't really know. I can't really explain it. Just when you got it, you got it. You know what I'm saying? So there is a lot that we need to get to tonight. We want to talk about Davante Adams, and we're going to open this up specifically to everybody that is watching right now. But the big question that we want to ask, because there's a lot going on with this, and there's a lot of just bad juju I feel around this whole situation in a lot of ways, right? But has the general public just been unfair to Davante Adams with this whole pushing of the cameraman thing? And before you answer that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show the video. And let's watch the video and let's kind of answer this question. Has the general public been unfair? This comes from a tweet from Wes Moody, KC, who maybe there's a little bit of bias there. I'm not sure. But here you go.
He seems like he's okay with it.
It's quick, 7 seconds long, right? The game had just ended. They lost by a point. He shoves the guy. Looked like the guy was running in, his way. And I don't know, Eric, thoughts on this?
Yeah. I obviously think this isn't smart by Davante Adams. I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to give him a pass for that. You have to be able to be an adult and keep your emotions in check in a situation like this, even after a loss against a division rival, whatever. I have no problem with what the cameraman is doing. I don't have a problem with that either. If I'm sitting here doing my job, even if I made the mistake or bad decision of walking in front of him when he's trying to get to the tunnel, get to the locker room, I would do the same thing. I would flail out, show up to work in a neck cast and bubble wrap, pull a Friday, my neck and my back. I'd do all that to get my check. I'm not mad at him at all. I want to talk to the people that are showing a different level of labeling for him that's bothering me with Davante Adams, calling athletes entitled for how they get to treat people on the sidelines, calling them thugs, as I've seen. It's a lot of mismanagement and mischaracterization that's really bothering me with this, because we see a lot of issues, even outside of football, just in this country, where people feel like they're allowed to protect themselves when their space, their personal space, is being compromised. That happened with Davante Adams, and their pitch has totally changed for how he responded. That I have a huge problem with how they're labeling that. Again, I'm not giving him a pass. I just saw you sign a $140 million extension with the Oakland Raiders over the Los Angeles Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, excuse me. I would come after you too. I totally understand that. But the labeling that the fans are giving him right now is the issue that I have, because I don't see it across the board, and I don't think it's deserved for what's happening in this situation.
I agree with you. I think that it is unfair in the way that we kind of question. Like the dude had just gotten done playing 60 minutes of football. He had just lost by a point, and you went running right in front of him. What did you expect him to do? Go, oh, here's the red carpet. Please walk right in front of me and cut me off. Did you even say excuse me?
Didn't look like it.
Nobody knows that.
Right.
You got shoved. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. You got shoved. Now, should Davante have shoved him? Okay, probably not,
Of course
right?
not. No.
But according to the file that was submitted, the claim, the accusation, whatever, he's charging him in court, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to the charge, Adams did, by an intentional overt act, inflict bodily injury or cause an unlawful offensive contact on the worker,
Mm-hmm.
causing whiplash and a headache, along with a possible concussion. Number one, come on, lawyers. Like, must we really language it up like this? Like, this is insane. And
Mm-hmm.
we actually have somebody on the show tonight that's going to kind of, what we're trying to do is get those that are involved in our show that comment with us all the time, interacting. We were like, hey, come on the show, give us your 2 cents. Well, little did we know we were going to be talking about this when we asked this gentleman, but he's already commented a little bit. His name is Matt Reilly. Yes, there is a little bit of relation. However, he lives in Kansas City. So I
Ooh.
want to bring him on and just kind of get his 2 cents on the Davante Adams situation. So, Matt, welcome to Beyond the Box.
Yo,
What's up?
what's going on,
What's
man?
up? What's
What's
up?
up?
What are you thinking? Do you think people have been unfair to Davante?
100%. I mean, it's a Chiefs most. He pushes a camera guy in Arrowhead. What else do you want? Like, I'm about to protest just because it's crazy. It has this allegation of assault turn football. Like,
Yeah.
any better?
Yeah. So just to reiterate what you said, because you cut up a little bit, but you said you're going to go to the courthouse and protest because the guy got shoved,
Yeah.
allegedly causing harm during a football game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If this is just on the side of the road, I'm not getting a charge. But the dude has to make that charge.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is it because Davante? Because you just said it was, in a different situation, circumstance, it wouldn't matter. But because of who it is and what the circumstances were, that's where this is stemming from.
100%. If dude pushes me, I'm not going and pressing charges. 40 million reasons to press.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's guaranteed you a percentage. That's what it sounds like.
All right, Matt. Thanks for your 2 cents. We'll bring you back a little bit later on. All right. Yeah, Eric. I think that the guy's got the opportunity right now to kind of, like you said, you don't have a problem with him kind of getting his bag and things like that. But
Not at all.
Dre asked an interesting question here, though. What about the unlawful offensive contact initiated by the camera guy?
I mean, he got his just due with the push. It's just that push is going to be mad expensive for Davante now. Like, it
Maybe,
sucks.
maybe. I mean,
He'll get his
maybe.
money. He'll get that money.
You
I,
think
I
that
don't.
you think Davante's going to lose that case?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. He doesn't want this to go any further than this. They already
No,
filed a
it'll be a
police report.
settlement.
Yeah, they'll write him a little something, sign him some cleats, give him a ticket. He'll be all right. Yeah, he'll be able to slide by it.
Like, I get it. Like, so my family has participated in weddings, right? And at our church, my mom was like the wedding coordinator. And some of the most annoying people in the world are photographers. Because like they feel like it's their entitlement to get wherever they need to get the perfect shot, right?
By any means necessary.
By
Right.
any means necessary. And so I'm almost like, man, the guy didn't need to be like, why did he need to be running across the tunnel where the team that just lost by a point is walking off of the game? Why did he need to be going that way in that particular moment?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't even like how close like media members or like fans get to like even like in basketball, NFL. I don't like how close they are in general. When you see guys catching a pass the other sideline, they clip a cameraman's legs underneath. Like that's insane that they get to be that close and risk that kind of like issue. But I want to stick to the people who are like saying these different kind of things. Or like, because like where were y'all? What do y'all say about a Tom Brady when he's chucking tablets on the sideline? When he's screaming at his teammates, what do you like? Where when he does stuff like that, he's a leader, he's fiery, this, that, and the third. But a guy like Davante pushing a cameraman is a thug. He's entitled. He should be strict. Like, I can't believe some of the craziest things I saw. They weren't in our comment section. I appreciate our fan base for being smart about this. But some of the other stuff I saw on the internet was just blasphemous in terms of how they characterize dog.
So, Dre Johnson, he asks, I'm curious if the camera guy has signed like a waiver of some kind releasing the NFL from liability. He may have, and there's a very real chance that he has, but absolving the NFL from liability does not absolve Davante Adams from liability. And I think that's kind of where the rubber meets the road, right? They're not, well, we can't go after the NFL, so we might as well, take a chance on Davante to get our money.
Roger Goodell said, "Hey, don't look at us. You didn't see me. I didn't do that. Go talk to him. Hey, there's nothing that we have to deal with. This is strictly a Davante issue, unfortunately."
Yeah, which is typical of Goodell, right? Like, let's keep our hands clean and let's stay out of all the issues that could potentially rise up. Like, I don't know. I don't like it for Davante at all. Like, I feel like, yeah, okay, did he mess up? Yeah, he definitely messed up to a certain extent, but there's got to be a there could be a little bit of reason to control yourself a little bit better, or thought to control yourself a little bit better. I get all of that, but at the end of the day, like, we got a heat of the moment situation that I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, to be honest with you. And I think that Davante, unfortunately, was wrong place, wrong time, reacted the wrong way, and now man's going to get his 5 minutes in the sun. And that kind of sucks, but I don't know. It is what it is. And we have more to talk about as far as football goes. So Eric, before we do that, I do want to remind everybody that wherever you're at on social media, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube specifically, make sure that you're subscribing and liking to Detroit Sports Nation so that you can get all of the latest Detroit sports content and sports content at large, because we cover everything. If you pound that bell, you'll get notifications from us when our shows drop, and we would love to be in that little notification section that you have. So make sure that you're liking and subscribing at Detroit Sports Nation across all social media platforms. We have a football game this week to look forward to. The Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And the question that we're going to ask everybody and see if you can, give us your thoughts in the comments is, after a very bad performance against the New England Patriots, can the Detroit Lions bounce back after the bye week? They've rested up, hopefully recuperated. Can they beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas? Eric, what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie to y'all or fool y'all or suck y'all in no more. I did enough with the Kool-Aid. I did enough with psyching up for the fan. Let's just be real now. Nah, it's not gonna happen. It's not, and it's not
Really?
because they can't. It's not because it's impossible. They have a chance to do it, but I'm answering the question: will they? No, it's not gonna happen. I'm sold on that at this point. I'm excited to see the team come back and be healthy because I at least want to get a general synopsis of that. But the way that this team is losing is being confirmed every week, and it's not a talent issue. That's not a talent issue that has driven the Lions to this point. And I don't believe going into Dallas with a Dak Prescott who was motivated to cement his job back, even with Cooper Rush throwing the 3 picks. He's like, they're still, excited about him. Seeing where Dallas is with their defense, Micah Parsons possibly going to have a fierce game against our offensive line. I don't have any faith that the Lions can turn it around. I don't think it's going to happen with this week against this team. And I think this is going to be the trend at this point. If there was any time for them to build and establish momentum, it was to start the season. The schedule doesn't get easier from this point.
No,
it only gets harder. So I have no faith that this is going to be a turnaround game for this team at all.
It could. I'm going to go with it could, Eric.
Sure.
And look, Dak Prescott's most likely going to be back, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which may actually hinder the Cowboys, if we're being honest.
All right, this is the Cooper Rush bandwagon. Here it is.
No, listen. I went back and I watched the Cowboys games. I went back and watched them, and I am more fearful of Cooper Rush throwing the ball than Dak Prescott. Now, Dak adds an added element in the fact that he has the legs and that he commands the offense and he's a very good leader. So I'm not saying he's the better overall quarterback, but Cooper Rush can toss the ball a little bit, and that's how they won a lot of these games. I mean, the Cincinnati game, he was throwing the ball. Noah Brown was huge for them in the Cincinnati game, specifically, right?
Okay.
You think I'm crazy, and I understand that you think that I'm crazy.
Yeah, I do.
But I just don't think that Dak being in the game is going to be much different than Cooper Rush being in the game, in my opinion. Now, do I think that that's going to mean that the Lions can beat the Cowboys in Dallas? I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think the Lions hopefully got cleaned up over this bye week. I did an article on Aiden Hutchinson and the roles that they kind of moved him to. They, in the first 5 games, he was playing a consistently strong side defensive end in like a 7 technique, and they were trying to move him. Eric, going back and watching the film, I think we actually need to make a correction because they actually were moving him more inside. Okay. They had him and Charles Harris on, the same side most of the time with Hutch inside, and they would stunt or cross or, twist or whatever. And it wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. And, but then in the Patriots game, what they did is 95% of his snaps, he was playing in a wide 9, which is way outside the defensive end.
The Jim Schwartz,
Yep.
The Jim Schwartz technique, yep.
But on the weak side specifically. And if you look at his PFF grades, Hutchinson through the first 4 games averaged 58.4 on PFF.
Mm-hmm.
In game 5, week 5, when he played the Patriots in this new role, he was at 80. So a significant difference over the first 4 weeks. Right. I think that being more comfortable and having more time to work into that, I think having the ability or trying to find a way to keep Ezekiel Elliott down. Because for whatever reason, the Dallas Cowboys are loving feeding Ezekiel Elliott when they have a more dynamic back in their backfield than Tony Pollard.
Right.
So if they can be stubborn and continue to feed Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak Prescott's coming back on a comeback game, and the Lions now definitely have a chip on their shoulder and something to prove, even though I don't know if that's really speaking that much for anything because they've had something to prove all season and haven't done it.
Right.
I think they can bounce back. But when you look at the upcoming schedule, Dallas, Miami, Green Bay.
Cooked.
So you have them 1-7?
Yeah. At this point, again, if there was any time where you wanted to get hot, it was before Thanksgiving.
For sure.
Like, that's where you're going to see the
It
Bills.
better be before Thanksgiving because
exactly
you need to forfeit that game and host a potluck.
100%. But see, that's a game where you can afford a loss or a beatdown where it doesn't hurt as bad. Playing against a rookie 4th-round 3rd stringer for the Patriots, or the team that's ran by Matt Patricia, that's not somebody you should be getting blown out by. And that's the problem that I have in giving them the benefit of this doubt. It's not the players. It's not their talent level. It's the ways that they're losing in terms of coaching, because we just saw this week alone the Jets go on the road and beat the Packers.
Sure.
We just saw the Falcons beat the Niners. Like, we've seen we see the Giants. If you look at roster to roster, the Lions are more talented than the Giants, and they're 5-1 right now. Yeah, absolutely they are. Yes. It's on offense. Who
okay,
you really
on
believe
offense,
they have a better offense?
Yeah.
And
yes.
okay.
We have not complained about the Lions' offense though.
Right, but then the Jets don't have that many like household names of their defense like that either. Like, Kayvon just got back into the lineup. He's been hurt, and they still managed to win games without him. Like Kenny Golladay was supposed to be their number 1 receiver, their number 1 guy. He's not even doing anything. He's still finding ways to win games. Daniel Jones is their quarterback, and they're still finding ways to win games. Like, it's no excuse for that. It's like the Seattle Seahawks, same thing. Like, it's just nuts how they've been able to blow these kind of games. So I have no faith in them doing the turnaround and turn what they can do.
So Dre brings up the point that everybody wants to make, right? What if it's not the coaching but the ownership? Like, Dre, we know that it's the ownership. It's always been. And I will say that I think that Sheila is a little bit different than previous owners and ownership. But Eric, if what you're saying is true, okay, and we're going to take this to its logical conclusion.
Okay.
If the New York Giants are less talented than the Detroit Lions, but they are 5-1, you are 1-4. Mm-hmm. They just beat the Baltimore Ravens, who we both thought were a good team.
Yep.
If that's the case, and newsflash, here's stat of the day for you. Brian Daboll has more wins than Dan Campbell does. If that's the case, and if that's what we really believe, then when do you fire Dan Campbell? Because to me, that's a coaching issue.
I agree. And again, I'm still of the mindset where this season, unless he just keeps doing the same issues, like if he keeps finding ways to go forward in like terrible spots, like then yeah, you might want to think about doing it before the end of the season. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he'll be smart enough to not repeat the same mistakes. Then again, I might just be too nice because I don't really see a reason for him to have that. There's nothing that we've seen outside of the motivational speeches and the rah-rahness of him and the coaching staff around him that gives the implication that, okay, he knows how to get this team home in a fourth quarter that's tight. He knows how to ice a game when the clock needs to wind down. We haven't seen that from him at all. But teams like we just talked about, the Giants, they also just beat the Packers on the road a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they've had games that are not just questionable. Like, we'll see what the Commanders look like at the end of the season. We'll see if that was a good win or not. But as of right now, they don't have anything credible to really look at. And I don't have much faith that he'll survive this 6 year. They gave him a 6-year deal for Dan Campbell, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be able to withstand that if these kind of mistakes keep happening.
And if only it were so easy, Dre. If only it were so easy. The reality is the Fords are not going anywhere until the Fords decide to go somewhere.
Dre, real quick, Dre brings up a good point, though, because one person that we don't talk about in terms of the blame pie is Brad Holm. Do you think now is the time to turn some attention to him? Because what did they do during the free agency? Outside of DJ Shark.
Sure, but the only contention that I would bring up to that, Eric, and the only problem that I have with that line of thinking, who was hired first?
Right. That's fair.
Dan Campbell was hired
That's
first,
fair. Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if Dan Campbell's hired first, even though Brad and him seem to get along very well,
Mm-hmm.
is that who Brad would have chosen? I don't know. When you look at Brian Dable from the New York Giants, and there was a brilliant article that was written on Detroit Sports Nation by our good friend Dylan, saying
Dylan?
that the New York rebuilds are what Detroit wishes it was,
Mm-hmm.
because they are. The Jets have 3 road wins this year with a coach that is from our backyard and most likely should have been the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And yet here we
Sorry, I mean, Coach. Didn't they interview
did.
Robert Saleh first? Yeah, he
They
was
did,
in their pecking
and
order,
then
yeah.
let him go to the Jets, and the Jets did not let him come back to Detroit.
No. Everybody was so confused after
smart.
that.
Good for them. Good for the New York Jets. So when I think about the Detroit Lions and where they're at, if you want to remove the bad taste that's in your mouth from the last, 5 weeks, okay? 6 with the bye week, but it's really 5 weeks because they played 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find a way to beat 2 out of these next 3 teams. And you have to be 3-6 after 9.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find a way to beat Dallas, which I don't think Dallas is unbeatable. I think you can go in there and win. You had to find a way to beat Miami with a potential of Tua being back and Tyreek Hill, who's on pace to break Calvin Johnson's single season receiving record.
Going crazy over there.
Yeah, I traded him. That was a bad idea. But then you got to play Green Bay. And of the 3 teams that we just mentioned, the most susceptible is Green Bay.
Green Bay, honestly, yeah.
So you got to find a way, if you're the Detroit Lions, to find that GRIT word that we hate to say in here anymore. You got to find a way to dig down and get a win over the next, 2. You got to win 2 out of the next 3 for there to even be, I would say, even an opportunity for this season to be considered a success, right?
Yep.
Just because it is brutal. It's been completely brutal. What do you think they do over the next 3 games? You really think they're going to lose the next 3?
I truly don't. I don't think it's off the table. I don't think they're the same team on the road, especially offensively. Like, we've shown that they've shown the ability to struggle, especially even protecting Jared Goff. And they're facing some good defenses too. Like, Dallas has a great pass rush. Miami has a pretty fierce pass rush. And Green Bay also covers the field in their secondary as well as getting to the quarterback. So, it's 3 is not off the table, man. Even if you look past that, I mean, we both have suspicions and fears about what's going to happen against Chicago. We think that'll be Justin Fields coming out Mitch Trubisky party against this team. Like, 0-3 is not off the table for this team. And if they don't find a way to put things together consistently and show that they can, again, I'm taking injuries off the table at this point. It's not injuries. It's not talent that's killing this team. It's their own horrendous game planning and their inability to adjust on the fly. And considering we haven't seen anything to really give us any hope with that, I can't give them any benefit of the doubt. I think 0-3 is absolutely on the table for this team, and I think it's going to happen, honestly.
I hope you're wrong. I'm going to be honest with you.
Me too.
I hope you're wrong because there's nothing worse than, another bad football season. So let's bring Matt back in. Matt, what do you think about the Detroit Lions? What do you think they're going to do over the next three games, man?
It's tough to really what the Cowboys are going to look like. Like, they've looked fine with Cooper Rush. Packers still really don't know. Lost to both. I don't know. My heart says, my mind says 1-3. 1-3. So I really don't know what to look because you don't.
Good. So you're in the same place that we're in. That's exactly.
Exactly.
You're like, I don't know. My heart says I want them to do one thing. My head says they're going to do something else. So great. Thanks for the astute analysis there for us.
I mean, I don't tell you. It's a different team week to week.
Facts.
45 points. Then you want me to say? I mean,
yeah. No, I get it. I 100% get it. It's tough, but we're going to talk about a subject that I know you like a lot, and you're actually going to be contributing for Detroit Sports Nation with, and that's Michigan football. So we will bring you back pretty quick. All right, Eric, let's move on. But before we do that, why don't you tell the people about GearUpDetroit.shop?
Yes, indeed. Again, the maybe not best performing team on the field, but clearly one of the flyest in the entire NFL is the Detroit Football Lions. I love the gear that we have, and there's plenty of it here on GearUpDetroit.shop. And you can get 25% off your purchase by using coupon code BTB25 off. They're going off the racks right as we speak. It's been a lot of support. We've even seen a lot in the comment section. Make sure you getting them. Get some awesome little selfies and social media posts. Make sure you tag us. Hit us up at Detroit Sports Nation. Let us know that you're rocking the gear. I can't wait for mine to come in the mail, and I know you're going to enjoy it as well. So make sure you check out the site. Go ahead and get your threads here with Detroit Sports Nation.
Before we get to Michigan football, you brought up something because you said that the Detroit Lions are fly. And I know
Gear.
we've had our disagreements about swag and, all those different things. I am the swagless one.
Yes, so I'm scared of this topic, but keep going.
Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 uniforms in the NFL. Where do the Lions rank?
Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. They're 3.
Okay, good. All right. They're not
okay,
good.
Good.
I don't like them at all.
No.
Like
Yeah.
there was so the Red Wings, just out of just randomness, but the Red Wings have decided they are not putting an advertiser's ad on their sweaters because they said we have an iconic uniform that will not have an advertisement on it, which I'm
Smart.
like, Chris
Love
Illich, I actually am proud to say that you own that team that I root for.
Yep.
So then that brought up the discussion about the Pistons. Like, the Pistons have an iconic jersey too. They shouldn't be. And we were like, no. I think of the 4 teams in our city, we have 2 iconic jerseys, and that's it. 2 iconic uniforms. We have the Red Wings and we have the Tigers. Those are our iconic uniforms. The Pistons uniform is the Pistons uniform, especially if they roll out those teal ones. Ugh.
You don't like the teal?
They're the worst. I hate them.
Oh man,
I hate them because listen, man. I grew up. I was the bad boys, right? And then Grant Hill gets there, and they go to this awful teal with the piston, like the horse logo. Like, nah, come on, man. Like, stick to the red, white, and blue. Those colors don't run. Keep it up, right? And then you got the Lions. Like the Lions, it is what it is. But let's talk about a team that actually does have an iconic uniform, and that would be the Michigan Wolverines. Eric, are the Michigan Wolverines the best team in the country? They stomped Penn State. They stomped Penn State. And many people, including, the armpit of America, Ohio's own, Urban Meyer, said, "Oh, they'll shut down this run game for Michigan. You can guarantee that." No, they won't. Because Blake Corum went for, I think, 166 and 2 touchdowns, and Donovan Edwards went for 16 carries for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, good job shutting down the run game there at Penn State. This is now 2 good defenses that they have gone against.
Yeah, they put up almost 400 rushing yards. Rushing yards, not total. Rushing yards alone against a top 5 rush defense in Penn State. I don't want to say they're the best team yet. You know me. While I am extremely impressed with what they've done thus far,
you hate Jim Harbaugh.
I don't like Jim Harbaugh, so I cannot. I don't want to doubt him because, again, for what they've shown that they're capable of, they're proving it right now. Again, they have been fantastic in terms of their run game. They do a great job at keeping J.J. McCarthy protected. Like, while you're getting him developed, you're not going to be able to get him, showing his potential if he's getting hurt all the time. He hasn't been getting touched really at all from what I've seen. So they've been doing a great job of that. Defense as well. They still are just dominating games, their defensive line. They need to make a play and get off the field. Like, Penn State was a team that thrived on getting big plays. They're not going to drive the field on 10, 12 plays. That's not their thing. And Michigan did a good job of getting them off the field and giving their offense short possessions. So I don't want to say that they're the best team in this country yet. I want to
Mhm.
see what they do against Michigan State, even with Michigan State struggling. I want to see what they do against them. Obviously, Ohio State, but I think they're well capable of going up there and winning a natty. From what I've seen, they're more than capable of doing it. But are they the best team right now? I can't say that yet. Not yet.
So it's interesting that we're talking about this topic, and there was a Facebook memory that popped up for me today. And I'm going to share something with you and completely put myself on blast. But when I lived
Oh,
in
boy.
Texas, I worked at a cigar shop and had some great friends there. And I was there hanging out, watching college football, and realized one Saturday that I had inadvertently dressed this way, like old Mr. Harbaugh.
You look like his intern. What is
I know.
this?
We were watching the game, and one of my buddies there, he was like, you must really be a Michigan fan. And I was like, what?
Oh
And I
my
looked and I go,
gosh.
oh no. So I was
That
like,
is
all right, you got to
hilarious.
take a picture of it just to make fun of like myself in perpetuity. But, you know, as much as I may have unintentionally dressed like Jim Harbaugh during my time in Texas, that does not change the fact that no, I do not believe that Michigan is the best team in the country right now. And there's a reason for that, right? Have they been playing really good football? Yes, they have been
Definitely.
playing really good football on both sides of the ball. I mean, if you think about it over the last two games, Indiana and Penn State,
Mm-hmm.
how many points have they given up in the second half of those two games? 4 total quarters, 3 points.
Unbelievable.
That's it. They
Mhm.
shut Indiana out in the second half, and then they only gave up 3 points to Penn State. And truthfully, if you think about it, they got I'm trying to make sure that my math is correct, but they gave up 17 total to Penn State, and one of those was a pick six, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
they really only gave up 10 defensively, 10 points. But and that one touchdown was on a long busted assignment run by Sean Clifford, right?
Mhm.
The 108th year senior. And so they're playing really good football. Do I think that Michigan State stands a chance when they come back from the bye? I really don't think Michigan State stands a chance when they come back from the bye. Do I think any team stands a chance against Michigan right now? No, I don't think any team stands a chance until they get to Columbus.
Mhm.
And that Columbus game could very well create a lot of chaos,
Mhm.
right? Michigan loses, maybe Ohio State goes on to lose. Like there's with Tennessee and Ole Miss actually being in the conversation and Alabama only having one loss right now, the fact that Ohio State and Michigan cannot meet in the Big Ten championship game is
Criminal.
hurting the Big Ten in a lot of ways,
100%.
right?
100%. Yep.
I don't want them to change so that we don't get the game in the regular season. I don't want the game to be dependent upon them being in the Big Ten championship. But like that hurts them because whoever loses that Ohio State Michigan game is out of the college football picture,
Right.
playoff picture, because you
Yep.
do not have, the the championship appearance and then getting in.
Right.
So is Michigan the best team? No, I don't think that they're the best team in the Michigan in the country
In
right
the
now.
country. Mhm.
But I think they're close, like you said. I think that they definitely come, November or whatever that date is in Columbus, they're definitely going to be in the conversation for that,
Yep.
especially if Alabama's down a little bit, especially if, there's, a couple of lost SEC teams. If Tennessee falls off their high horse and isn't making it through, like, I think there's definitely opportunity there.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see. I definitely, it's exciting. I mean, clearly I wear the colors proudly and am and excited every Saturday when I see, JJ. Look, JJ's playing okay. He's playing okay enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Not he needs a coming out party in the worst way possible. Because it may be disingenuous to say this, Eric. But if
Mhm.
you were to look at JJ's stat line, you were to look at Cade's stat lines from last year, are they much different?
No, I saw it. I looked at the same thing. No,
You know what I
they're
mean?
basically the same.
And I'm not using that as an argument to say that, Cade needs to be the guy that that gets into, the game and all that. That's not the argument I'm making, because clearly JJ is the better person for the job.
Clearly.
I just want to see him open it up, and I just want to see him throw the ball a little bit.
Yeah, it just for our sake, just for our viewing sake. No, sorry. Go ahead. I may cut you off.
No, I don't. I'm not one that needs to be entertained, because I watch football differently. I can watch them run the ball with Blake Corum 28 times and gain 163 yards and be like, that's darn good football, right?
Mhm.
If it's working, don't fix it. If
Right.
it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So it's just funny to me that everybody clamored because Cade couldn't throw the ball and his stats were just terrible. And it's
Right.
like, well, you got JJ now and the game plan hasn't changed much. So I don't know. I would love to see, Matt here I just want to hear him talk about Mike Sandersill for a little bit, because I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that he's got a piece, and Mike Sandersill, the converted wide receiver who's now playing slot corner. Best slot corner in the country, Matt?
I mean, Joe Klatt said it. He said the best defensive back on Michigan. And if you look at the numbers, these different nickels, they're getting Bama's guy gave up 4 touchdowns on Saturday. I mean, Mike Sanders has to break up and is not allowed. I don't think it's top 5 in tackling. I mean, he's in college right now, and he played receiving receiver. That doesn't happen. He was an athlete coming out of high school, but he was a receiver, and now switched is probably one of the top in the country. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That's I definitely want to be able to give Coach Solomon his credit, because that kind of a gamble takes a lot of guts. And even with I'm not mistaken, I think they're one of the least penalized teams in the country as well. Like, he's done an amazing job of keeping them disciplined and keeping them in positions where they don't have to rely on JJ to make the throws that you talk about. Where you could just hand it off to your guys and, let them carry the weight. But then when you're able to make gambles and watch them pay off like what they did for the secondary, like that's a rarity, especially in college. So, I mean, definitely got to tip my cap to what Harbaugh has done, especially with that change.
I like it. I like Sandersill. And he's been a huge surprise this entire year, right? He's been exactly what they need him to be, and I'm enjoying watching the conversion.
Game when I was watching him, I'm like, there's no, like, they're probably just putting him out there, making him feel transfer, be a return guy, and every single one of Michigan's defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially with that defensive line that he gets to play, behind. Like, they're giving him all the time to be comfortable and make reads and take gambles too. So that's going to pay off tremendously for the entire secondary with that kind of NFL caliber defensive line they got.
Matt, what's your thoughts? Are they the best team in the country?
Oh, I'd probably put them. I think they're better than Tennessee, better than Georgia, and I don't necessarily.
You think they're better than Georgia?
I don't think they're better.
Oh, okay.
Than Georgia.
Okay.
You must have skipped, and I didn't hear you because I was like, "What? No."
Better than Georgia, and I don't think they're better than Ohio State. If their players keep making, I don't see why a run to the Natty's not possible. It's a more complete defense than it was last year. I don't want to say offense because, but I don't see. And you saying that Big Ten championship won't get them in the playoffs, so it really depends on what happens. But
yeah,
I mean, I know Michigan.
I don't know.
Not out.
Yeah, the SEC bias way strong. Matt, I'm gonna take you out, and we will see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate you, man.
No problem.
Yeah. Be looking for his articles on DSN about Michigan football because he is one of our newly acquired writers, Matt Reilly. All right,
Appreciate you.
Eric, let's get into our final segment before we get to hoorah and who cares. Let's get to our Week 7 NFL picks. Now,
Yeah.
to recap from last week, hold on, let me make sure that I have it correctly. I got to get my Jim Harbaugh picture off of the screen. Last week, buddy, you went 3-2.
The Chiefs let me down.
Chiefs did let you down,
Damn you,
which
Chiefs.
means, Eric, that I went 4-1. Which means I have a 2-game lead over you. I have
Okay.
19 wins. You have 17 wins.
That's cool. That's
Okay?
cool. Yep.
But we got to start picking some games differently, or else I'm going to keep beating you in
You can
fantasy
think
football
that if
and
you
in
would.
NFL picks.
I'm just building up dramatics. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm
You're
keeping it
just
interesting.
looking for that late fourth quarter comeback. I got you.
I'm a fourth
I
quarter
got you.
guy.
All
Absolutely.
right. So you ready? You've got the games ahead of time, so you've had some time to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get right off. Obviously, we are not picking this in any type of order because we always do the Detroit game last.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, Atlanta at Cincinnati.
I'm gonna
Atlanta
go with
is coming off of a win against the 49ers.
It's the 49ers.
Cincinnati's coming off of a win against the Browns. I forget who they played on Sunday. But regardless, they both are coming off of wins. So
The Saints.
The Saints. There you go.
Yep. I'm gonna stick with Cincinnati. I like how they're putting it together offensively. I like some of what Atlanta has, but I don't really think it's gonna sustain. I just don't buy what they're doing in Atlanta. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati to close.
I like what Atlanta's doing, and I'm gonna take Atlanta.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold of you.
You know why? Against
Why
the
is that?
Saints. Andy Dalton led Saints. The Cincinnati defense was not good.
That's true.
And the Falcons' offense is much more dynamic than the Saints. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Mariota playing well enough to be serviceable.
Yeah.
They're going to put points on the board. And if that old line can't hold up for Cincinnati against their defense, you're looking at some trouble, my friend. So I'm going to go with Atlanta on this one.
That's bold. That's absolutely
might be.
bold.
Now, we've already talked about this team a lot tonight. The New York Giants traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Does the magic run out for the Giants?
They both kind of fraudulent to me, but I'm gonna go with the Giants. I like what Saquon's doing. I like his resurgence. I think he'll have a field day against the Jags. I'm gonna go with the Giants on that one.
Now, Eric, when I've told you that I don't know what to pick, I always default to what? How do I make
your fantasy team, your personal gain?
You're right.
Go ahead. What's your personal gain in this one?
In a
Two
fantasy
horrible
league,
teams.
In a fantasy league that I am in, I have Josh Allen in that league, who is on bye this week.
Okay.
So my backup quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with Trevor Lawrence to have a huge game against the New York Giants, even though their defense is really good. So this is probably a bad pick, and you'll probably pick up a game on me, or I'll just extend my lead further. But I'm going to take the Jaguars to beat the Giants at home. Third game.
You and your selfish agendas, man.
Hey,
I see that,
man. Why would I not make all of my life congruent and have the same rooting interest in every aspect?
I'm just mad it's working. That's
why I try to acquire the same players on my fantasy teams. Then there's no surprises.
You just go all together. It's like, good for you. I'm just mad it's working. That's all.
Why? Why would it be?
Because you don't deserve it. That's why. I deserve this gratitude.
Hold on a second.
Me. I need this satisfaction.
Whoa. Wow.
I have struggled in fantasy too long.
Running a show, doing all those kind of things together, and you're like, you don't deserve fantasy football wins, bro.
You know, we're friends in that regard. We're friends here. We're having a great time getting to know each other, being friends. When it comes to competing in this, it's war at this point of the day. No, pal. Sorry.
I will remember that when it comes to make trades.
Okay, deal. That's good.
Okay.
I'm with that.
All right.
Let's go to the next game.
Kansas City at San Francisco. You gonna let the Chiefs let you down again?
I'm not. I don't buy San Francisco either. I think isn't Nick Bosa hurt again, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kansas City comfortably. I like how Mahomes is spreading it out. If he takes care of the football, which I think he'll be able to do against a Bosa-less defense in San Francisco, I think he'll be fine. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
My thing is, look, the 49ers lost a game they shouldn't have lost to the Atlanta Falcons. And that's problematic.
Mm-hmm.
I also have Jimmy Garoppolo and Deebo Samuel in the same fantasy football
Oh my gosh. Come on, man. I cannot. This agenda.
But I'm also not an idiot. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City on this one.
No, go ahead. Stick to your
No.
philosophy. Go ahead.
No,
Go
I'm going with
ahead.
Kansas City, man. I can't do it. I
Take
can't do
Jimmy
it.
G. Go ahead.
I have Jimmy G starting in a fantasy football lineup over Russ Wilson this week.
That is bold of you. That is bold.
Listen, I will tell you this. Jimmy Garoppolo in one outing got me more points than Russ Wilson has all year.
Yeah, Russ has been
Terrible.
horrendous. I don't know what his problem is.
So I benched him and I started Jimmy Garoppolo and potentially, listen to this. So this is another league, not our DSN league.
Right.
In this league that I'm starting Jimmy Garoppolo in, I had to start James Cook as a running back, who's a third string running back.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had to start Khalil Herbert.
Mm.
And I'm about to win that matchup. As long as Everett doesn't go crazy. You want to talk about all luck? Like this week was a lot of luck for me because I had some bad buys. James Conner gets hurt and he's out, so I can't start him. Jamal, my backup, Jamal Williams is on a bye, so I can't start him. And I tried to make 8 different trades this week. Even offered Mark Andrews as a trade piece and could not get running backs back. So I started a third string James Cook and I started Khalil Herbert. And Herbert got me 7 points. Michael Pittman had a great day.
He did.
Mark Andrews had a great day and carried a team. And so here we are. Look, in that league, I'm 1-4. So I needed some luck. I deserve some luck.
You deserve some luck. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With you and your self-soothing.
Fourth game.
Biology.
Fourth game. Cleveland at Baltimore. Who you got?
Baltimore keeps losing these close games, and I don't like that. Their defense is not the same, but I don't like Cleveland. I don't like them without, well, I don't like them with Deshaun either, but I'm going to take them with Lamar at home if I'm not mistaken too. Yeah, I'll take Baltimore at home for this game.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm taking Baltimore, especially because I have Mark Andrews in my fantasy lineup, and I want to see.
I'm about to walk out. I swear, I'm about to get this close, man.
All right, our final game for week 7. That's what we're in. Week 7, Detroit at Dallas. Who do you have in this game?
Don't make me pick. Don't make me pick. Dallas by 20. I have no faith that they're going to get this right. I really don't. I feel like the offensive line is unraveling. I think Michael Parsons is going to have a big game. Dallas by however many. I don't care.
I am going to break a rule that I always what did I tell you at the beginning of these picks? That I would not pick Detroit until they proved me wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I picked them against Seattle, and they ended up losing against Seattle.
Okay.
But I have a much stronger rule in my life that under no circumstances whatsoever, for whatever reason, do you ever pick the Dallas Cowboys to win a game, ever. Because I loathe them.
I do too. It doesn't make me feel good to do this.
With a 2-game lead, I don't care sacrificing a game. I'm picking the Lions. Let's go Honolulu Blue. Give me the blue Kool-Aid. I've got some right over there. I am going to drink it this week. I'm going to say they're going to come out off of a bye, and they're going to beat the Dallas freaking Cowboys and do a service to all of America for making the Cowboys losers of 2 straight.
I would love it. After what happened in 2014, I'm with it. Mark it bold. Down. You're okay to sacrifice that? I'm okay with that. I get it.
I mean, I'm beating you, so I might as well be okay sacrificing it. Okay. It is what it is, but I'm just telling you, I have a very strong creed in my life that I never wish good for Dallas Cowboys, ever, because they're awful. And so
they deserve nothing.
They deserve nothing. They're like
Nothing.
me in this, according to you. They deserve
Facts.
absolutely
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. So we have 5 minutes left, Eric. Let's go ahead and get to hoorah and who
Yes.
cares. I want you in hoorah and who cares. We prop up a football story and we knock down a football story. Hoorah for something good to happen. Who cares? Because we're sick of hearing about it.
You're
Eric, go.
My hoorah is for somebody I miss dearly. Somebody who should still be here on this team right now, who somebody said was done and was not as good as his counterparts in the league, but is still playing at an all-pro level. Big play Slay. Hoorah to you, my friend. It is so good to still see you playing at an all-pro level. Awesome pick that you had against the Cowboys. He's playing as good as I've seen him play. You could argue he's playing better than he even did in Detroit. He has looked fantastic. And Matt Patricia, I will never forgive you for just giving him away for a bag of peanuts. Never forgive you for that. Shout out to Big Play Slay.
I'm going to start with my who cares.
Okay.
And for the love of everything that is holy, can we stop talking about freaking Tom Brady? I am so done with this guy. It's a love-hate relationship because obviously, go blue and he's the GOAT. Like I give him that respect. He should have retired. He should have stayed retired last year.
Facts.
And I know that I'm stealing the quote from The Dark Knight, but you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And doggone it, Tom Brady, you have done become the villain at this point. I'm done with it. He should have hung them up. He should have hung them up. Should not have come back. And you've crossed the threshold. You are now a villain.
If what the rumors are saying that his personal life is that true, what do you have to prove, bro? Go home. Go to your supermodel wife and your kids. Like what you
He
nothing
can't do
to
that
prove,
anymore.
bro. With 7 Super Bowls.
He can't do that anymore.
Well, yes. Sad. Well, I'm proud of you for that, though. He's the first repeat offender now at this point, and I thought I was the Brady hater, so I'm proud of you. That was good.
I'm
that was
so
really
mad.
good.
Like he's yelling at. Look, listen. When you show up 11 days late to camp, you require that you get every Wednesday off.
Yeah.
The last thing you get to do is yell at your offensive lineman on the sidelines.
You go to your ex boss's wedding.
Yeah.
The same week of your game, like,
and fly separately to the game from the team.
Bro. That was disgusting.
You have, I get it. You are, and I will not debate this because I think it's fact. You are the greatest quarterback of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But that being true or not does not give you license to be a complete fill in the blank with your favorite superlative.
Richard.
That would be a good one. Yes. You do not get to be a Richard.
No.
Okay? And he's being one. I'm just going to leave it at that before I get myself into trouble. So that's
cool.
my who cares. Can we just stop talking about Tom Brady for the love of everything?
Trust me, if there's anybody who appreciates those sentiments, it's yours truly right here. Let me go to my who cares, who I'm just as heated about and kind of is synonymous with the Tom Brady name right now. Somebody who continuously craves attention, and honestly, he's not even in football anymore, but somehow continues to find his way to be relevant. Can we give a fat who cares to Antonio Brown? I'm so tired of hearing about this man pulling his you-know-what out of the pool,
Richard.
posting about his wife. Like, I've never seen somebody fall so hard from a $30 million deal with the Raiders to rapping and doing this dance and thinking that you the man now. Like, stop it, bro. Get Antonio Brown the hell out of here forever. I'm so sick of this, man.
Well, okay. I'm going to come to AB's defense just for a second.
Have fun.
And here's why. Vontaze Burfict. That's why.
He literally has not been the same since then.
That's exactly my point.
That's it.
He has not been the same. And if you want a case study of brain damage in the NFL,
was a slow build. It was that after that he kicked the punter. He went on Facebook Live. That the meltdown with the Raiders, and everything else has just been downhill since. Horrible.
Yeah, horrible.
Ugh,
All right, my
goodness
hoorah. And
gracious.
we're gonna end on a high note.
Let's do it.
My hoorah goes to Wendy's. Have you seen
Okay.
Wendy's commercial for the bacon pub sandwich with Reggie
They've been
Bush?
really good with their commercials with Reggie Bush. I like it.
But hold on. And the obvious poking at the Heisman committee
Yes.
and the obvious like joke that they are making of that decision that they made. Does
Mhm.
Reggie Bush deserve that Heisman? Yes, he
Yes.
deserves that Heisman. Don't give me
Yes.
this crap about pay and play. Like if you the moment you went to NIL, he gets his Heisman back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the fact that Wendy's would go, Reggie Bush had something very important taken away from him. And then they go through this whole thing of, the pretzel pub sandwich and this trophy that it's on. And then he gets up on like a platform and goes to make the Heisman pose and he goes,
Right.
oh, right.
Don't touch
Like,
my
yeah.
burger.
Like that is, I've been waiting because the first time I saw that commercial, I was rolling. It was so funny. I love it. And the best part about it is don't tell them that it's only for a limited time. Right. So that is my hoorah is Reggie Bush and
That's a good
your
one.
ability to laugh at yourself and the stupid decision that the Heisman committee made because it's awesome. And Wendy's, your social media game is top notch. And
Oh,
if you
yes.
keep doing that with your commercials, awesome.
I didn't know Reggie
Other
Bush
than
had that
Chick-fil-A, you
personality,
have the
man.
best
Yeah.
chicken nuggets around anyway.
Facts.
So other than Chick-fil-A, you have the best chicken nuggets. But keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Doing great work, of course.
All right,
Yeah,
Eric. I
love
think
Reggie
that's
Bush.
going to do it for us tonight. It has been a good night. For those of you that stop by and drop comments in there, we do appreciate you. I do want to remind you one more time to make sure that wherever you're at on social media, make sure you're following Detroit Sports Nation. You can also, right here above our logo, follow Beyond the Box on Twitter at Beyond the Box DSN for some football conversation and all the good things that can happen there. He is Eric Vincent. I am AJ Reilly. We will be back with you after the Lions beat the Cowboys, mark it down, on
Talk to him.
Sunday.
Talk
And we will
to
be
him.
excited to talk about that win. We'll both be pouring blue Kool-Aid, and it is going to be awesome. So
We're giving out more therapy.
or giving out more therapy. That's more likely what's going to happen, but it is what it is. For us here at Beyond the Box, we do appreciate every single one of you, and we will see you next week.